Hey everyone, before I get started, I just want to remind you that if you like my content, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and then join the Militia Man and Crew Patreon community by clicking the link in the caption. Good evening everybody, Militia Man and Crew. Hey, it's the 11th, and I just wanted to say, you know what, I'm still kind of reeling about the eagles, the birds. I love eagles. It's fun because I've been around out in the Northwest, and there's a lot of birds, and some of the experiences I've had have been around eagles and many different types of birds and stuff. So anyway, but hey, good on them. They looked well, they did well, and go birds. So that's to my son. He likes to say that. So anyway, tonight we're going to talk about some exciting news because, look, there's been some rulings in the courts that have roiled everybody and made us all nervous. And I understand that, but look, the bottom line is today there's some really good information that supports the fact that you should have every reason to be excited about our investment, and that is the Iraqi dinar. And so tonight we're going to go into the federal court. It says, here's an article, it says the federal court state order to suspend amnesty, personnel status, and real estate laws. So what those folks did, they go ahead and said, well, we're going to suspend that. It says the federal court says to cancel the state order, so against the state, order to suspend the general amnesty, the personal status, and real estate return laws. Okay? That latter part is the one that I really like, is because that is got a component to it that gives the citizens their constitutional rights, and I think within that is not just the right to vote. It's going to be something similar to their purchasing power, because there's a lot of revenue on that land, a lot, and they want to secure that. So I think that's a big deal for all citizens, because of the way things work in that country is going to be powerful, and keep it in mind, right? So it says the Constitution is the supreme highest law. It says it defines the powers of the country and achieves public and private freedoms. So they refer to Article 61 of the Constitution, defines those powers of Parliament through voting on legislative laws, in which they have already. So back in January, I think it was on the 21st, it says the court confirmed that it decided to cancel this state order to suspend the implementation of general amnesty, personal status, and property return laws. So anyway, so back on January 21st, the House of Representatives did vote to approve the personal status law and the draft law, real estate, big one, which was included in some decisions by the Revolutionary Command Council. And they say here in this point, they just give a little blurb, it's like dissolved. I have another article that supports that. So they basically, they include, it's inclusive of all three of what was said to be on hold, or effectively, in my view, not to be on hold anymore. And that's big. So to me, it's a very big sign that Iraq can push forward. And I think that means her reforms economically, financially, everything. It's pretty good. So anyway, here's another article. There's a lot of it in the news today. Samson, in our Patreon, patreon.com/MM&C-Crew, have it all. I have a hard time keeping up, you guys, because we have so much information in our Discord at Militia Man's chat room. You'll be amazed. So she's up early in comparison to what time zone I'm in. So kudos on her. And then again, kudos on our admin, Gigi. She keeps our room tight and to the point, which is the Iraqi dinar. We're not necessarily political. Sometimes there's political articles out there. But the bottom line is our focus is on our study of the Iraqi dinar, and kudos on you, Gigi. Good job. But here this article says, the Federal Supreme Court ruled that the dissolved Revolutionary Command Council's decision number 190, 2001, regarding priority appointments to jobs is unconstitutional. as it violates the provisions of Articles 14, 16 of the Constitution of the Republic. So anyway, the point is that this court's decision confirms to me that this is just one example they give out today. Instead of going into the other two additional ones, they just use this one, but they use the words dissolved in the past, and they use it again, that they dissolved it. So they said, look, it's not binding. Why? Because they didn't have the authority to do so. That's a big jump, you guys. It's really a big thing. So after that, you got this long, lengthy report that I'm not going to read it all because it's Al-Sudani, and it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 full pages of data. So you guys can come in and read it yourselves. Please do. It says the Iraqi government issues new decisions. So that was the federal court that we're going to talk about too. But here now it's the Iraqi government is saying similarly. It says, but here they're talking about doing things. Is what are they doing? It says during which it discussed a number of general issues and economic service files, in addition to the priorities for implementing the government's program. So all these things that Al-Sudani has been trying to do and is doing, it's almost like he's got carte blanche now to do it because the Supreme Court or the federal court has ruled. They have the power, not anybody else, effectively. So it says, number one, increase the reserve amount for the component for the residential complexes. We're talking about investment. Increase the reserve amount for the residential complex in different areas. So again, they're just reiterating to them that the investors that are going to go building those millions of houses, 100,000 units here, 1.2 million or 2.2 million elsewhere over time, over so many years. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of investment, and it takes a lot of materials to import into the country. Port of File, we already know that. It's already up and running. They're going to be even expanding over the years. And so, but the ships are already coming in. And so that looks like that Al-Sudani is living up to those time frames, and he's in a pinch. And hence we had the other day, I think it was in my last video, that he had direct meetings with the powers that be to get things moving. And he even had one with the court. So that's a good thing. And here, again, increasing the reserve amounts for contracting companies for the sewage plants, for instance. I mean, that's all about infrastructure. Infrastructure is what they're getting at. Here's another part that they are even going into a little further in depth, is that they're, working with consulting firms, international ones. It says they're inviting a reputable consulting firm, and they're looking for preferably foreign ones to review the designs and supervise implementation, with an independent component being included in the project. So they're defining that they need specific things for them to be, I guess, somewhat professional and credible. And so Al-Sudani, he's touching all the bases in this article. It says the cabinet also approved authorizing the Ministry of Finance to sign an addendum to the contract with the Ministry of Finance's legal advisor based on the text of paragraph 15 of the original contract that they have for institution to work as a legal advisor. And again, it's regarding the subject of sovereign guarantees. Again, that's investors related. Countries want to know that they're going to live up to those sovereign guarantees, so that when they start doing business, they don't have to worry for so many years. And it goes on, I think it says they're talking about authority, auditing regulatory situations. They go on to say things like that. Auditing is a big deal because it's going to be a transparency is going to be with that new technology that they're using, the blockchain, for instance. If people are probably pretty much aware of that. So basically, really, from this article, you guys, and I'll say at the beginning of it, it's called the Iraqi government issues new decisions. I would suggest you read it and absorb it and understand it, because if you're an investor in the Iraqi dinar, you should know what you own. And I think that most everybody does, but not everybody. Some people are new, and welcome. Okay. The federal finance requests the implementation of 3 points to finance the salaries of the Kurdistan region. Says the Federal Ministry of Finance requested the Kurdistan regional government to send information on employees and retirees according to the mechanism set by the Supreme Court and transfer non-oil revenues in order to pay salaries. So there's been a hindrance by the Kurdistan region. They haven't been up front with all their non-oil revenues. So you got to pay attention. It's because the non-oil revenue streams are going to be more than their oil, or at least similar, because their production changes. Of course, and it's going to increase over time. But anyway, it says it also includes information regarding transferring non-oil revenues for the month of January. But they're kind of getting specific, but they're like, look, we need to get this started, and we're talking about a specific month. So it is from within the last 30 days, because we're not quite outside that yet, totally. It says the issue of paying salaries to employees in the Kurdistan region was one of the most prominent outstanding issues between the federal government and the Kurdistan regional government, as there was difficulty in implementing the law on salary distribution, which led to long delays in paying dues. So they're putting the blame effectively on a lot of what we're seeing right now is on Kurdistan. That's how I would read it. It says the recent efforts between the two sides, the recent efforts, so that's just like now, promise a quick solution to this crisis, with both sides now committed to implementing the law in a way that guarantees the rights of employees and improves the financial situation of the region. So basically, both sides committed to it. And what that, I would imagine the citizens are probably like smiling large right now, because, again, all of this is oriented about taking care of them, being able to pay their bills, and likely to get purchasing power. And I think that purchasing power, once the country goes international, is going to be far more than it is today. And so here's another article that it talks about contracts. It says there was 8,100 roughly. They demand a MasterCard to disperse their salaries. So they're like, come on, let's go. We want this money. So they're open and they're watching. And now that the federal court has made decisions, I think it's going to be, the pressure is even going to be ratcheted up even more. And we all know that there was, in Kurdistan, there was people, on the streets. They were literally upset, So it says the delay in delivering the cards was hindered the receipt of their financial dues, which has put us in a difficult living condition. So the citizens are talking. They're calling on competent authorities to urgently intervene to solve this problem and guarantee our financial rights as soon as possible. So that is a kind of a heat, kind of a fire under their backside. It says these 8,999 contracts in Ambar are temporary job grades launched in 2024, but they were according to the tripartite budget. And we all know that there's a component of that tripartite budget that hasn't been exposed, which is, I believe, the exchange rate of their new real effective exchange rate. So anyway, today's final and binding decision should be music to their ears. I think it's kind of music to mine, but this last article is really the one that has my attention. It came out a little bit earlier than that one, but the bottom line is that that's just the way the news feed works sometimes. But the final word, that's the topic of this article that's in our Patreon room and in Discord. It says the final word, the federal court settles the controversy and binds everyone to its decisions. It says, in a decisive step that reinforces the principle of the rule of law, the Federal Supreme Court confirmed today on Tuesday, February 11, 2025, that its decisions are final, binding, in all authorities, after rejecting the appeals filed against the general amnesty, the personal status, and property return laws. I just love it, you guys. It's like I'm pumped about this one. Okay, so it goes on. It says today the decisions of the federal court are not subject to appeal or discrimination. They're just kind of shuts it down, doesn't it? I love it. All right. So it says rejecting the appeals, implementing the laws are approved by the Council of Representatives without any obstacles. And then it goes on. It says the decision comes amid an anticipated political and legal scene as the federal court occupies a solid constitutional position that grants it supremacy in its decisions over the judicial bodies, which enhances the stability of the legal system in the country and paves the way for implementing legislation in accordance with applicable constitutional frameworks. Like I said, earlier on, it's like I'm smiling large, and I'll say it again. Everybody should be smiling. It says, to me, in my view, it's if there's good news to be had that Iraq's ready to join the international financial system, this is it. I really believe that. I mean, the rejection of the appeals is the star of the show so far today. I mean, the final word. I mean, that's it. It says the federal court settles the controversy and binds everyone to those decisions. So if this isn't the door opening for Iraq to the world, I don't know what is. I look at it like this. The shackles are off, and Iraq has nothing stopping her at this stage. So at this point, it should be somewhat of a timing mechanism, because obviously you guys just witnessed the pressures from the citizens in Soleimania and other places. The contractors are wanting their payments. They want it on the cards. They want it electronically. So that's going to be a fast and easy system. If they are hooked up, their cards should just be able to be turned on effectively, and they should be able to be off to the races. And the fact that it's binding on all authorities, it should, I think it's going to resonate throughout the country, and I think it's going to resonate throughout the world. And if you go into our room, you're going to see all the different entities that are doing things. It's not just these few articles that I give you tonight. There's so much more to the story, but it also, all of it supports the fact that this here is going to be something that we have to pay attention to quite closely to, because it's real, and it's been what we were waiting for. So that hindrance that we thought from those appeals was depressing. People got really frustrated. In our room and out there in the real world, people were frustrated, saying, "Oh my God, this is just going on and on and on." And at this stage of the game, well, hopefully there's nothing else out there that keeps it going that way. But it looks like the door's been open. So anyway, I hope you guys all enjoyed tonight. And by the way, for all you folks that are on the west and in the central part of the Rockies, be safe, because it's really getting cold here. We got huge storm systems coming across. Those folks that are in California that had problems, they got weather coming big time, and it's going to be cold. It's going to be windy, and nothing presents more harm than cold, rain, and wind. It takes its toll. So my prayers are with everybody on the West Coast tonight, because the winds are going to be 70 to 80 miles an hour, and then the snow level and the cold, freezing temperatures are going to hit this side, and that'll just move to the east. So anyway, but on a bright note, before a cold storm, what we have tonight, I think, should heat everybody up. So enjoy, and thank you for being with us, and thank you again for all your support that you guys all use PayPal, Zelle, and Venmo. I appreciate it. And don't forget, getting close to that 50K, hit that like button, subscribe, and then we'll see you as soon as I can. Once again, guys, don't forget to hit that like button if you like this content, subscribe to the channel, or join us at the Militia Man and Crew Patreon community for even more exclusive content. You can also donate to this channel by hitting the links in the banner to help keep this page up and running. Your generous support is greatly appreciated, as always. Much, much appreciated. Thank you so much, and have a great day.